with the DGP week 4. Again, if you were doing this as a makeup, don't forget your name and your core in the top right hand corner, and don't forget to spell out the number that you have. So we have DGP week 4. Biggest mistake, commas and spelling of the days of the week and the months of the year. So watch yourself on that. It's real easy to make those mistakes and lose those points. Here we have 3 corrections for our first day. You start out always with your capital letter. Keep your fears to yourself, but share your courage with others. This is a period. And the tricky one for the 3 is this is 2 independent clauses joined by a comma, and there's a coordinating conjunction. So you could say, keep your fears to yourself, and it be a complete sentence. So those are our corrections. Here we have our corrections already made on Tuesday. Again, check your day of the week and your spelling and your commas. And we'll begin. The first thing that I see here is prepositions. They pop out at me. So here is a preposition, to. And I'm going to go ahead and label my prepositional phrase. And I also see with. With and to are 2 of the most common prepositions in the English language. So I'm going to mark that out. This helps me because I know that the last word in prepositional phrases are either nouns or pronouns. These are not nouns. Others is going to be an indefinite pronoun, because just bring me some more, some different ones, some others, bring me some. That's an indefinite pronoun. And yourself, when you have self, yourself, himself, myself, it is reflective or reflexive. And so you are going to put down a reflexive pronoun. So those are 2 more things that you have. I already told you from Monday, remember, comma and a coordinating conjunction right here. And so here, but is your coordinating conjunction. It is bringing 2 sentences together. This one is a little bit more difficult because, I don't know, I'll show you in the next slide. It'll make a little more sense. So I'm going to go with my action verbs, and keep is an action verb, and so is share. These are verbs, so I'm going to mark that out. And we have 2 possessive pronouns. They are your fears and your, in this case, courage. Sorry about that little split. These are both possessive pronouns. Remember, the pronoun you is always some kind of pronoun. In this case, it's a possessive pronoun. And so that takes care of that. And then we are left with 2 nouns and 2 things here. We have courage and fears. These are abstract nouns. If I said, keep your hands to yourself, you would have no problem with hands being a noun. We make it abstract, it becomes difficult. Share your cookies, you would have no problem with that being a noun. So it makes it a little bit more abstract. So there is our parts of speech. Our next for Wednesday are parts of the sentence. This is where it gets a little bit tricky because, as you can see down here, we have the understood subject, and I'm just going to start with that. Your understood subject is always you. It is always indicated by the pronoun you in parentheses, and it's really saying you keep your fears to yourself, but you share your courage with others. Those are both of our subjects, so I'm going to label that. The next thing we want is a verb. In this case, we want 2 verbs. You do what? You keep. It is transitive. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that later. And you do what? You share. So both of those are your verbs. We have, or you should have, 2 prepositional phrases already noted from the day before. So we're going to just transfer that to yourself and with others. And you know that because I've labeled it in your key, both of these are adverb prepositional phrases. And this tells what you should do with your fears. You keep your fears to yourself. And you share, where do you share it? With others. And that's why it is an adverb prepositional phrase. We have 2 direct objects and 2 objects of the preposition. Since we just got done with our adverb prepositional phrase, we should go to our object of the preposition. They are always nouns or pronouns, and they end prepositional phrases. So others and yourself are your objects of the preposition, and we have our direct object. This is what makes our verb, in this case, transitive. When you have something that has the action of the verb, you keep what? Keep what? You keep your fears. This is your direct object. That's what makes this verb transitive. You share what? You share your courage. This is your direct object, and that's what makes your verb transitive. There we have this, and let's see what our diagram looks like. Our diagram is pretty crazy today. Here it is. We have a lot of stuff, but watch. What if I do this? I'm going to take my highlighter pen, and I'm going to say, keep your fears to yourself, and then I'm going to highlight this. And then I'm going to say, share your courage with others, and I'm going to highlight this. And then I'm going to put a big purple dot right there and right there. Hopefully, that highlighting can help you kind of put the puzzle in order. Let's just start with the obvious. We have the coordinate conjunction but that brings the two sentences together. You know that this part right here is your subject, and so it is your understood you. So we have our understood you. This part right here is your verb. Well, look back at yesterday. This is keep. Make sure it's capitalized because it's capitalized in the sentence. And this is share. Now read it and let's see if we can find our direct object. You keep what? In this case, it's your fears. You share what? This is your direct object, and this is courage. Well, that should make this line easy because it's your fears and your courage. Now, the one thing I like about diagrams is there's all these keys. So when you see something like this little cheat, that says, oh, prepositional phrase. Well, you already have them labeled. They're labeled 2 days in a row, and there's your third one. To yourself goes here, and with others goes here. There you have it, your DGP for, I think this was week 4, and I hope you get this turned in, and we'll put this grade in the grade book. Thank you.